Well, hello to you, locally and around the world. Here's Al, again speaking to you live Facebook. And today's subject is about high achievers. Many of you and me too, we all admire high achievers and we wish we could be a high achiever. Do you know, it's not that difficult really to be a high achiever at something. In fact, there's many areas of your life where you'd be achieving at a very high standard. So if you've got a piece of paper there, a pad and a pen, I want you to do this, what I've done. I want you to have two columns, and one of the columns is the heading Underachiever, and the other column is High Achievers. So let's start with underachieving. I've written some things here, so excuse me looking down. Underachievers, they have far too much contemplation. They go over and over and over stuff and they never get anything done. So they have far too much contemplation. They're also not very good at concentrating. This is my experience. They can say they're concentrating, but they're contemplating. They're not very good, obviously, because of that, at intense concentration. And if they're not good at that, they will have ramifications of trying to get into, later on I'll mention, the flow state. They do have a rare glimpse, though, of the flow state or the zone, but it's only rare. They have a high procrastination rate. They put things off and put things off and put things off. These people are underachieving in the corporate world, and this is a major, major problem. They have also very, very little persistence. Persistence, which I've found in my life, is a prelude to really becoming, some stage, a high achiever in something. You must persist. If you persist, you'll have some discipline. Underachievers don't reach any discipline. They're very undisciplined. Their self-belief, and I spoke about self-belief yesterday, their self-belief is severely affected, so they don't get a belief in themselves. They have no faith in themselves. They have very little faith in the world and no faith really in themselves. The knowing that comes eventually with persistence and discipline, this knowing that high achievers have, is not evident. And they don't listen to their intuition because they don't get enough focus, concentration to do so. That's on that side that you've now got listed as underachievers. Do you really want to be that? Ask the question. If you don't want to be that, we'll go to the other column, which is high achievers. High achievers know exactly when to contemplate. It's time to go over data. They use this very wisely. They can select things too from their contemplation with which to then begin concentrating on. Stark difference to the other column, isn't it? They can develop, they really, really can develop intense concentration. I've noticed them doing this. And do you know what? They get so intense at it that they actually get to the next stage, which they can be totally, totally absorbed into what they're doing. They can experience often because of that what we call the flow state. And I like to speak of this often, the flow state. And these high achievers get into the flow state and they notice what is happening. It's effortless effort. They can do anything and it's not using far too much energy. If you use far too much energy, you're robbing the systems of your body of vital energy, and we get stiff necks at least, let alone other things. They know the difference between thought and awareness. Do you know the difference between thought and awareness? High achievers do. They're aware enough to say, I'm thinking too much. Or they're aware enough to say, what I'm thinking is not going to move me toward the highest vision of myself, i.e. high achievement. They just have lots and lots and lots, and I'll say that word again, forgive me, lots of persistence. This develops a persistence, develops a discipline, and they get a self-belief which is just rock solid. And they have a belief that what they're doing will be able to be done. They gather a faith from this. They are very, very faithful to themselves and the task at hand. And they develop this innate knowing which seems to transcend everything else. And they certainly listen to their intuition. Now let's have a close look at this. What is the difference between thought and awareness? Thinking, it's wonderful. It's a great thing to have. It's a contemplative thing and a selection process that we can then begin to concentrate on. Thinking is wonderful. But the thinking generally isn't awareness. You can have awareness that you're thinking, but you can have no thinking as awareness. Until you give a lot of attention to awareness, you'll actually be embroiled in the thinking. So therefore the thinking can take you in one moment into, oh, this is a fantastic thought, or the next moment it can say equally, it's not. We're not into, if we want to be a high achiever, into it's not, into impossibilities. We're into everything is a possibility. And everything is a possibility when we come into awareness. It's only when we go to thinking that it becomes not a possibility. So let's sum up here. And by the way, if you want to ask me some questions, please do it later. I'll be most pleased to get some questions from you. But let's sum up here. High achievers have all of this. Underachievers have none of it. What is it you'd like to be? Would you like to achieve in life? First of all, if you'd like to achieve in life, you'd better be persistent. It's a baseline thing. If you're persistent, you'll develop some discipline. It's another given that will happen. If you develop discipline, you'll go to faith. You just have a faith which comes from belief. First of all, you'll have a belief and then faith that it's all starting to work out. But you know what? I can still shake that. We can still shake faith. But if you keep persisting and have discipline, boy, will you actually get to the next stage, which is you'll know. You'll just know. Nothing will break the knowing. I've been doing this for so long now, I just know. Even when others say I don't know, I know that. You see, the state of knowing transcends it all. You'll get to the state of knowing easily if you have this flow chart. Persistence, discipline, belief, faith. Faith will then make a quantum leap into knowing. Once you know, you'll be in the flow state. The flow state is effortless effort. Once in the effortless effort, anything can happen. And once it does happen, you'll actually know, you'll know, and you'll keep repeating it. So that's the high achievement that I'm speaking of. You'll just know that you're achieving at a very, very high rate, a very high level. You can all do this, it's not just people who become high achievers. They know the formula. They know that they actually persist. They know this. Hear the word, they know. They know they're disciplined. Hear the word, they know. They know they've got a belief in themselves, self-belief. They know that. They know that the belief jumps to a faith. They know this. They're so persistent with all of this that they jump quantumly into they know, have a knowing state. The knowing state is now that you are just aware. Hear the word again. I use this nearly every week I'm speaking to you. Aware. What is awareness and what is thinking? Thinking is about what was and what could be. Thinking is all about that. Thinking is about what could be tomorrow and what's happened yesterday, which does not exist. We want a record of it, but we want to be aware of it. You see, we can be aware that we're thinking, but you can't think to be aware. Remember, the easy step to get to awareness is we'll do it again together. 1, 2, 3. What comes next, first timers? No, not 4. I didn't say 4. What comes next is awareness briefly. The mind wanted to take you to 4, but that wasn't what I asked you to do. I said to go to 3. 1, 2, 3. And what's present after 3 is awareness. Give your attention to awareness, and all of this is possible, and more. Now, I'm running out of time, so if you'd like to me to answer your questions, please give them to me, because you know I'll get back to you. Those that have done this before, you know that I get back to you. Next week I'll be in Thailand, and I'll be running still these sessions from Thailand. I look forward to you bringing these sessions from Thailand. It'll be a different venue, and maybe even some different experiences that I can relate to you. So before I go, coming next week in Thailand, how do we become a master? 6th of April. 6th of April Melbourne time. The following week, on the 13th of April, genius. You can become a genius. The following week, still in Thailand, believe it or not, I'm having a good time there, aren't I? The 26th of April, and this is unconditional / conditional love. And coming up too, I'll be going over again live Facebook meditations with Al. You're most welcome to come along to any of these. I'd love to have you join me. In the meantime, all of the programs you can see behind me, you can get those free if you join us up. You don't have to come to a workshop. You don't have to pay dollars for it. It's very, very inexpensive. No more than the cost of coffee and cake per month. Go onto our website, www.mindbodyextra.com.au. The extra has no E, and you can learn all about our membership. Become part of our worldwide web, part of our worldwide community, and get to know people that are like-minded just by becoming a member. You'll be getting all of this and even more expanded, much more than what we're doing today. So welcome to those who are going to become members before you become members. You are most welcome. I'll see you in Thailand next week, and bye for now.